Good morning, madam and my fellow friend. My name is Albina Lee, and I am the first presenter from Group 6. So I'm start from the process of the interview project. On 1st June, I was asking my friend if I can interview her. However, due to her personal affair, we cannot conduct this interview. On 4th June, I was asking my brother to have an interview with me. Well, he agreed at the first. Due to his many assignments, he need to manage his time to do an interview with me. On 7th June, finally, I can interview my brother about the topic, how we communicate. Let's move on to the summary about the interview session. Good communications means that the message you intend to convey are conveyed. Respondent highlighted that noises and selective listening are the challenges to have good communication. Body languages included facial expression, gesture, and pose are extremely expressive and able to convey countless emotion without saying a word. Respondent highlighted that he used mobile applications like WeChat, WhatsApp, and Messenger to communicate with his friend without any face-to-face communications because social media has changed our communication. For the respondent, control our time is need to improve our communication skill. We are responsible to what come out of our mouth to avoid getting trouble. From my self-reflection in this assessment, I must practice more about interviews with my respondent so that the interviews do not look boring enough. I also realized that I should manage my emotion and avoid laughing in this interview session. During this interview session, I noticed that I need to make eye contact more when interviewing the respondent. In the conclusion, we have to understand that communication is not only translation of message, but also comprehension of it. With developed communication skill, people can achieve better work results and avoid misunderstandings or conflict. That's all for me. Thank you.
I'm Tinka E from Faculty of Psychology and Education. I have done an interview season about the topic of communication. So now I'm going to share a few about the interview process. 29th of April, I received the topic for my final project. I start to find some information and some suitable questions for planning my interview season. 30th of May, I try to asking people around me to be my respondent, and I chose my cousin to attend the interview at the end. 20th of May, finally I finished interview season with my cousin and I record it. I have summarized the content of the interview season. Based on the respondent opinion, effective communication means understanding the word or the information being communicated and also understanding the emotion of the speaker. He thinks that inconsistency of communication and intercultural communication such as race, ethnicity, religion, and so on are the big challenges to effective communication. Inconsistency here means where communication stops at the top, it's often a case of relying on cleverness to spread the word down. Lack of clarity creates inconsistency and people begin to assume the meaning and relay incorrect information. And also, facial expression, gesture, and pose can display personal emotion within a social situation. Facial expression and gesture allow people to communicate a variety of feelings and thoughts, while pose not only boosts attention but also contribute to retention by allowing the listener to process the message. Development of the internet and social media gives a chance for getting our message out to thousands or even millions of people. Last, respondents think that listening and keeping smile is key to all effective communication because our positive attitude will shine through and the listener will respond positively too. Through this interview, I have learned how to do a questionnaire and also how to interview someone. I realized that listening is the most important part, and being a good listener begins by not interrupting others when they are talking. I must learn how to control my emotion, especially in the face, and maintain a positive attitude to avoid misunderstanding. Conclusion: effective communication is very important, especially at daily life or at work, as it can help to reduce conflict or tension. We need to learn to listen before we learn to communicate. All of us are encouraged to improve our communication skills because it brings a lot of benefits, such as stronger decision making or faster problem solving. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is BINTI. The respondent I'm looking for this time is my classmate from the same school. Because our major are different, I think we will have a different perspective on things. So I think it's the best candidate. Unfortunately, we live in different places, so we have adopted the form of video call, which I also cater to our questions. Does the internet affect our way of communication? Because of the schedule of the course, it is difficult for us to have the same free time. So we finally choose to join ATs to finish the interview. One of the common mistakes people make in communication is that they are self-righteous and use their own standards to measure others. The second is to indulge in worldly tractors and demand oneself by professionalism, so-called trueness. The third is a partially belief in what one can understand, especially in the face of some stonewall, conservative or healthy people at the beginning don't always want to prove yourself and let the other part be convinced. It should be appropriately restrained. It's not too late to solve the other party's model problems first. Then tell the truth and put the truth on the table in order to avoid the conversation. We should also avoid using integrity tone. In a world, modesty will make you different. You must keep empathy, complementarity. When communicating in communication, we should learn to listen, to ask questions, to observe what we see, to give timely feedback, to think in other ways, and to seek common modern ground while receiving difference. Learn to empty yourself. The more empty you are, the greater the heavier it will be. How to communicate effectively? First of all, we should understand what the purpose of communication is. Communication is an important part to interpersonal communication. The main purpose of communication should be to listen to other people's ideas, express their own views, seek common ground while raising difference, and research concerns or contented action. Therefore, the base of effective communication should be win-win thinking. Respect for difference, transportation thinking, which requires us to take an active attitude and have a broad mind. Effective communication should be built on the base of equal equality. Remember to be aloof and absent-minded. Effective communication is also related to the environment of reality, media, and time of communication. Nowadays, email, SMS, WeChat, and other electronic communication must bring greater capabilities to people's communication, but also bring many problems. The kind of communication master can't hear each other's tone, can't see each other's experience and action, and the most effective way to offer communication is a face-to-face communication.